Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with 60 and Me. Thank you so much for being here today. I thank you for being on this journey with me. We get together on video and in our articles on our website to really talk about things that are on the minds of women over 60, 70, 80, and to just be a support to each other on these really challenging times. Now, we've all over the last few months found ways to cope with uncertainty and fear, and one of those ways is perhaps to meditate and have a more mindful approach to the world that we live in, to our new reality, to our new normal. And that's one way of going inside, getting our strength and building a sense of self. And perhaps for many people, that's been a real positive that's come from all of this challenge that we've had over the last year. But there's another thing I want to talk to you today about, which might complement that and maybe give you a different context for how to bring mindfulness into your life, how to get that state of flow that enables us to deal with and adapt to our new reality. One of our bloggers, Karen Van Mierlo, wrote an article about a topic that is so much a part of my world as well, and I'm so happy to talk about it as a way of bringing mindfulness and calm and meditation into your everyday life, and that is photography. Photography, taking pictures, going out into the world and experiencing it in a more direct way. You know, when we're meditating, we are sitting there quietly, reflecting, building strength, finding our inner core that is obviously helping us a lot during these times. But going outside is a great energizer, and we recently did a survey on loneliness, 60 and Me, and we found that the one thing, I think it was 68% of women said that going outside was helpful when they were feeling lonely and socially isolated. But this idea of using photography, I think, is a whole different approach. And I get excited about it because I love taking pictures. And I love getting out into the world and setting aside a day or a time or an hour where I just do that. And Carol Vermerlo, who's one of our bloggers, wrote an article about how to get this practice of mindful photography into your life in a way of getting back to that state of flow that makes you feel more calm and relaxed. And she says in the article, and I totally agree with this, that it's not the picture that you take, that you can't really attach yourself to the outcome of the pictures that you take. You have to really just get into the process. And she talks about 5 creative ways that you can establish this process of taking pictures that helps to encourage and refine that approach of mindfulness. I think it's really important. Another thing she talks about is that it's not the camera. It doesn't matter whether you have a fancy, Nikon camera, DSLR, or whether you have your phone. It doesn't matter at all about the camera. It matters, again, about how you approach your relationship with the things that you're taking pictures of. And the idea that she mentions in her article, which I will link to below, is all about being intentional. Going out into the world with the intention of taking pictures. And really once you switch on that brain, that side of your brain that says, look for color, look for images, look for shapes, interesting angles, you suddenly start noticing them. And I think it's really, really funny how that works. So that's one of her first tips, is to always photograph with color in mind. Start thinking that you're looking for colors. And of course, you can always turn your color pictures into black and white pictures. And that's another thing that you can do. Actually, it reminded me, I just looked at my notes about not choosing a fancy camera. I got to tell you a story about a woman who really impacted my life so much. Her name was Janet Gilka. Janet was the wife of Bob Gilka, Robert Gilka, who was the editor of photography at the National Geographic for many years. And my ex-husband and I had the opportunity to meet him several times. We went on workshops with a very good friend of ours called Bruce Dale, who's also a wonderful photographer. And anyway, I met Janet on one of these workshops. And there she was in her 70s at the time, and she had a little Brownie camera. Do you remember, I don't know how old you all are, but I had a Brownie camera when I was little. It's just one of those click box cameras, and it used film. Now this was about 20 years ago. I must be, to be fair, that was 15 years ago. But she had this Brownie camera, and she was just walking around going click, click. and she actually had some bubbles. She had a bubble, a little toy, and she was blowing bubbles and taking pictures. And I thought, this is interesting. This is the wife of like one of the most well-known photography editors in the world, in his day and his time at the Geographic. And there she is with a brownie camera, taking pictures of bubbles. And she inspired me so much. We became very, very good friends after that. And I kind of wanted to be like her when I grew up. Maybe I've accomplished that to a certain degree. But the point was that she didn't care what camera she had. All she was doing was paying attention to her process of looking, observing, watching, and taking pictures. It was really wonderful. So that's another thing, back to color, is when you're in that mode, whatever camera you're using, just look for color because it just energizes you. And I found with color that you sometimes take things for granted when you visually see it, and then when you put it on a camera, it's a really different effect sometimes. And goodness knows now with our beautiful phones, our smartphones, we can actually adjust the colors and do all kinds of wonderful things to enhance and sharpen and just do some tricks to make it even better. But anyway, I think looking for color is a really, really important thing. The next thing that she talks about is to go on a mindful walk. So choose a place that you're going to go take pictures. And by the way, do you take pictures? I mean, you can just join in the conversation here now. I mean, are you a photography nut, either professionally, semi-professionally, or do you just love to take pictures? Just, leave your comments about whether you're identifying with any of this. I think it's so cool that we can do that here. So the second thing was, of course, going on a mindful walk and have a theme, perhaps, something that you want to take pictures of. Now, I am a picture taker of doors. I love doors. I just find them the most fascinating thing in the world. I always want to knock on the door and see who's behind this beautiful door or this, even windows. But doors for me are my thing. And when I go out looking for pictures, I start in a place where I can sometimes just go literally door to door. Not knocking on the doors, but taking pictures. When I'm in another town, like when I used to travel, well, all of us used to travel, but when I traveled, and still do, to small places around my house, I take pictures of doors. I also take pictures of doorknobs and door knockers and post boxes. I mean, just something about the secrets that lie behind the doors, and why sometimes people would take so much trouble to create such an ornate door with decorative pieces and molding and color. I just found doors incredible. And so for me, that's one way to connect. And maybe you've got something that you always take pictures of. Recently, I've been taking pictures of plants. And it could be partly the season, that there's just so many beautiful colors with the season right now. But I took some pictures the other day of cactus, and there were some just spectacular images of, if you got them like from different angles. And it was, not the plant or the product of the picture. It was just looking for really cool plants. And I remember when I went on a workshop again with Bruce Dale, we went to the Southwest. My ex-husband and I took a month, and we went all around Utah, Colorado, New Mexico. There was a series of states that we went to, and we just took pictures of, well, really the scenery. Like Bryce Canyon, Canyonlands, Red Rocks. I mean, there were just so many gorgeous scenes. But I found myself with the guidance of Bruce Dale, who was a fantastic photographer. He actually wrote a book on the Southwest of the US for the Geographic. But he showed us places and showed us the detail of things and and I just find myself always now just being on the lookout for things. Like I look at an angle, like a tree and a leaf or a stone or anything, and I just look at it as a part of a picture. It's just really interesting how we take pictures, isn't it? But I just think that's such a way to calm yourself. And, when you're, another thing that Karen mentions is to actually look at things from different angles. And I think that's what I was describing there, is that you don't just take a picture necessarily of a tree or a door, but you look at the angle of a doorknob or something that's unique. Examine different points of view. I think that's really important. Don't stop after you've taken a few pictures. I mean, we're so gifted now that we don't have to wait for film to be developed. Do you remember those days when you take 20 pictures and then you would take the film in, and then you'd wait a week, and then you'd go in and get the pictures, and they were like, oh, 3 of those were okay. But this whole discussion today is about separating yourself from the outcome and just doing the shot. Now, however, having said that, there was a really good story, another good story I want to share with one of my favorite photographers of all time, Steve McCurry. Steve McCurry took pictures of a lot in India, Afghanistan, in Asia. He's a beautiful people photographer. He was the person that took a photographer who took that very famous picture of the Afghan woman. Do you remember her really sparkling blue eyes? And he actually went back 30 years later and found her and took another picture. But he's just amazing. But he had a gift of an opportunity of working with Kodak as they were discontinuing film. They were going to go all digital. Everything was going digital. So they gave him the last roll of film that came off the production line. And they said, go anywhere in the world. We will pay your expenses. Go and take 20 pictures. That's all you get. And I did a book on this, or at least an article, but it was just so fascinating that what would you do if you really could only just take 20 pictures? But the whole idea here is that whatever technique you use to focus your mind, to get you in that state where you're using photography as a way of being mindful, being meditative, having intention, and enjoying the beautiful, beautiful world that we have. I know it's been hard, and we've been all, struggling so much. Looking at my uneven top here, I see myself in the phone. But just ways that we can calm ourselves and have fun with photography. So I'd love to know, are you into photography? Is this one of your hobbies? One of the things that you love to do? What do you take pictures of? What's your favorite way of turning a photography walk into a meditative experience? I'd love to read your comments. I really would, because I enjoy photography so much. It's really one of my hobbies, and it'd be wonderful to hear what you're doing too. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel. Please press the button. It says subscribe. And I would be so grateful for that, because it helps us to expand our channel and reach more women. It's so important to also press that notification bell, because that's where you're told, you're informed when a new video is released. And all my videos are here on YouTube. We've got like 1,800 of them on all kinds of topics. So just subscribe. That would be great help for me. And also ring the bell for notification, and tell your friends about 60andMe. We want more women in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 50s, 40s to be enjoying this time of their life. And so I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Karen, for this article. I hope that you enjoyed it and got you thinking. Now go grab your camera, your phone, and go out and take some pictures, and have a really, really beautiful day wherever you are. Take good care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.